I'm very grateful that you guys are taking the time to join the Zoom. Happy to see all the returning faces. Very honored by your presence, especially uh, the one who's a successful business person, right?
I
We're
don't
going
think
to talk
so.
about finance and business and investment in a sort of holistic approach to it. Okay, but before that, um, does any of you would like to share any of your insight or lesson from previous time? Do you remember what we talked about from the previous sharing? Or if you have anything in the day or in the week that you would like for everybody to learn and to share as well before we get started. And it is the principle of mental activation that we are doing. Okay, we're activating our mind, our brain by reviewing previous lessons. Anybody have anything that they want to say? Okay, if not, then I'm going to do a very, very quick review before we jump into today's material. So we are here to expand our awareness and perception with respect to money, business, and investment. Okay, money, business, and investing. Hello, Taiwan. Thank you for joining our Zoom today. So we're going to talk about finance, business, and investment. And the goal is to come to a full and complete awareness. Okay, full and complete awareness. So a real quick review from last time. The idea that when we have an awareness of something, we have a reality of that thing. Okay, do you guys remember that? To have an awareness of something is to have a reality of that thing. To have an awareness of money, business, and investing is to have a reality of money, business, and investing. To have a full and complete awareness of something is to have an enduring and sustainable reality of that thing. So to have a full and complete awareness of money, business, and investing is to have a enduring and sustainable reality of money, business, and investment. And we have already gone through how to define awareness. Okay. For a person who does not have an awareness or is unaware, okay, we're going to say not aware. When a person does not have an awareness of something, that means they don't have a reality of that yet. Then we say that we find that what they have is an inner state that is negative. Negative inner state. Okay, basically if a person think about money, they go negative. Okay, they feel disappointment. They feel like money is the root of all evil. Then that person does not have an awareness of money. And usually what that means is that person does not have money. Okay, they're generally financially poor or in debt. If a person, when thinking about money or business or investment or anything else, and their inner state is positive, okay, they have a positive inner state, okay, inner state, meaning they're hopeful, they're confident, they're trusting. They feel happy when they think about money. There are people whom, upon thinking about money, they feel very happy. When a person has a positive inner state with respect to any topic, in this case, money and business and investment, and they have a positive inner state, can you guess that they have a reality of that? That they have money, they know how to get, they enjoy money and they know how to get money. Maybe they even have a business. They even have an investment account. Okay, so when a person has an awareness of something, they have a positive inner state. And if they have a full awareness, if they have a full awareness of something, then what they actually have is 10. Let's use this color. They have an inner state that is balanced and positively oriented. Okay, so I'm going to say balanced and positive. Okay, balanced and positively oriented. It is balanced because they already have that reality. They don't need to feel too hopeful. They don't need to feel too positive, and definitely not negative, because they already have it. Oh yeah, I have money. Oh yeah, I know how to do business. I know how to make investment. And that comes with having a positive mental images, and they have positive source concept or favorable source concept, meaning they know how to go about making money, they know how about doing business, they know how to invest. Those are the source concepts that give them the reality that they have. Okay, so when a person has a fullness of awareness or a full awareness of something, their inner state is balanced and positive. The mental images is positive. The source concept is favorable. Then can you imagine that that kind of person would have a sustainable and enduring reality of that concept? Okay, in case money, business, and finance. Okay, so that's just a definition of what it means to have an awareness of something. And so what we're trying to do here is trying to help ourselves and each other come to a fullness of awareness, to have positive image, to have positive source concept about money, about investing, and about business. And so last 2 weeks, we started with a question of where does money come from? Does anybody remember where money come from? Okay. There are three sources. There are three, primary source where money come from. Anybody want to tell me what that is? What those are? You can type it in the chat, or you can just, raise your voice and speak up. Money has three sources. Okay. Well, if we remember, one of the primary sources of money, especially in the ancient time and even today, is Mother Nature. Okay. We can extract money from Mother Nature in terms of raw material, natural resources, the lumber from the forest, the fish from the sea, the minerals from the earth. All of these are natural resources from Mother Nature. We can simply extract natural resources from Mother Nature, and we can turn them into money. But we are, at the same time, we have to realize that if we want to continue to extract money from Mother Nature, then we have to give it back. Okay, there is always a price. Even though it may seem like free at first, Mother Nature seems to be giving us all these natural resources for free. But if we don't pay back to Mother Nature, we're going to have to pay the price. Usually in terms of our environment being depleted, pollution, things like that. So we will pay the price if we do not pay back Mother Nature when we draw money from Mother Nature. There is another source of money where we can make from. Okay, all of us live in a country, and the government of the country will come up with policy, and they will create money, and any contractor, any individual who works with the government can draw money from the government, and by thereby making a lot of money. But drawing money from the government is also limited unless we understand that government change and we are able to change with the government. Because every time a party change, a regime change, we have a different policy in place, and the money can dry up if we don't know how to nurture our relationship with the government. Okay, so government is one source of money. And of course, the final and third and the largest source of money is from people. Okay, where can we draw money from? We draw money from people. And how do we do that? As long as we can get people to agree that something is of value, then we can sell it to them. We can draw natural resources from Mother Nature and we sell it to people. And if the people agree that that stuff from Mother Nature is worthy of value, then we can make money from the people. Of course, we also have to satisfy the government. We can draw natural resources, but if the government prohibits it, then we cannot make money. So in order to make money, we have to understand that there are three sources. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, those are the sources of money. Okay, the Mother Nature, from government, and from people in general. And money is defined as an object of universal equivalent, representing the value created by human being, subjected to the law of supply and demand and the law of compensation. Okay, in fact, it is the human being that create money. We can draw natural resources, but it is not until a human being agree to the value of those natural resources that it will turn into money. So it takes a human being to turn natural resources into money. Okay, so that's just a review. And then there's another question is, what form does money take on? What form does money take on? The first question is, where do we draw money from? That is Mother Nature, that's government, and the people. The second question is, what form does money take on? Does anybody remember? What form? Well, everything in this reality that we live, everything in the universe, the world, everything that we can see, touch, feel, taste, measure, or become aware of, take on a material form. Okay, it is a material form. It is matter. When we touch an object, that is matter. Those are all material form. Money also take on material form. Money that we can count is a material form. Cash, paper money. The number is in our bank account. Those are the things that we can count, that we can measure. Properties, physical property, real estate, gold, silver, gem. Okay, anything that we can count, that we can measure, is considered material form, and that is one way that money exists in material form. Now, when a person is aware of money as material, when a person perceive money only as material, then they tend to accumulate and acquire. Right? When we think of money as material, as cash, as bank account, as investment, as property, as real estate, as gold and gem, then instinctively, when a person perceives money in a material form, then they will tend to accumulate, and that's called material wealth. They tend to accumulate. But because it is material form, it is also limited. Okay, because it's limited, material form is also limited. Just like every other material object in the universe, it's limited to to space and time. But like every other material or matter in the universe, there is also an energetic component that make up that material, and it is the energy of money. So what money as material form, they took on form like cash and bank account. When money exists as a form of energy, we understand, we come to an awareness and perception that money in the form of energy is what? Does anybody remember? What is the energetic form of money? Anybody have a good answer for what is the energetic form of money? What is the energy of money? I'm going to give somebody a chance to answer that question. That's an important one. Can somebody either raise the voice and say something or type it in the chat? Money takes on material form. That's called material wealth. What is the energy of money? What is the energetic form of money, Ron?
Energetic form is like bartering system or
No.
no.
The energy of money, remember the reality triangle, okay? Everything that has a material manifestation has an energy signature that give rise to that material form. When it comes to money, the energetic form of money is people. It is people. Because it is only through people that value is created.
Yes.
Without people, there will be no cash. Without people to give value to an item, there will be no barter. So it is really people who give rise to the manifestation of money. Okay, so when a person understands that money is people or money, then it opens a greater perspective. When you have an awareness of people as money or money as people, then we begin to see people as capital. We begin to see people as talent asset. Right? We begin to see greater possibility than just the cash that is in our bank account. A person who has an awareness of money in an energetic form, that is people, will realize that, oh, even though I may not have any money in my bank account, but I have all these people. I have families and friends and relatives and co-workers and employee bosses and colleagues. And all of those people can create money. I just have to know how to tap into that energy of money and then turn it into physical or material form of money. Do you guys get that? It is people that are the energetic form of money. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then in order for people to turn money into money, what we're going to need is some information. Because just like every object in the universe, in order to have a material manifestation, it has to have an energy signature, and that energy signature depends on the information within that element. We use the idea of lead and gold. Lead and gold has a physical manifestation that we can feel, that we can touch, we can measure. It has an energy component that scientists can measure. And lead and gold has an informational structure, which is the arrangement of protons and atoms that give rise to that energy and give rise to that material manifestation. Well, same thing with money. Hello, chị Thoa. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for chị Phùng, Thế Anh. Very honored by your presence. So, when it comes to money, whereas money take on the energetic form, which is people, money take on an informational form, and that is a plan. Okay, knowledge. The knowledge is something that we can use to turn into money. A person may not have any cash, a person in the bank account, but if let's say they have a recipe for a really delicious food, that recipe is information. And all they got to do is take that information, energize it with people, right? Get a bunch of people together, develop that recipe, and then they can turn it into a chain of restaurant selling a delicious type of food, and thereby making a lot of money. Okay, so a person who can possess knowledge as information, that person can be very rich. They have a lot of money, even though they may not have any material or wealth in the bank account. Okay. Okay. So Knowledge. Okay, here we are dealing with knowledge. In our philosophy, we're dealing with knowledge. We are actually creating value by creating knowledge. And there are two types of knowledge. The kind of knowledge that we all go to school with is considered worldly knowledge. They are considered, okay, thank you, Luân, for mentioning Facebook, YouTube, and other social network. Okay, Facebook, YouTube, and other social network can be considered the energy of money. They have a lot of people. They have millions and billions of people. And Facebook, YouTube, and social network, they have a certain information. They have a certain knowledge. They understand how social media work. The concept to them is social media. And by taking the concept of social media, it's a place where people can get online all over the world and share ideas and post stories and pictures. And by energizing it with people, they can make a lot of money. Just a single idea, a single bit of knowledge, when applied to people, energized by people, can be turned into a vast amount of money. Okay, so money exists in the form of knowledge and information. And so, if a person has an awareness of money only on a material wealth perspective, then you notice that they tend to spend a lot of time and effort accumulating and acquiring. Essentially, they work for money. They work for money, right? How many of you here are actually working for a company? Anybody here an employee for a company that you are working for money? You can raise your hand. There you go. Okay, yeah. I used to. Okay, Thế Anh. Okay. I'm still working for money. So it turns out that when a person has an awareness and perception of money as a material form, they tend to work for money. But working for money is kind of hard work. And the amount of money that we receive, accumulate, it's kind of limited. It's kind of limited. And so we invite to shift your perspective from working for money to attracting money. Okay? Working for money is limited because when you work for money, all you do is accumulate and acquire material wealth. It is just on a physical form and it is limited. So instead of working for money, we are going to energize it. We're going to informationalize it. And instead of working for money, we are going to attract money. And so how do you attract money? Okay. In order to attract money, first you're going to have a plan, an idea. Okay. From an informational perspective, okay, from an informational perspective, we have to have a plan, an idea, a business plan. And then we're going to have to apply that plan to some people. Remember, because people is the energy of money. You take the plan, you apply to a bunch of people. What we're going to have is a product or service that we can give to other people as value. Okay. So this is just review. In order to make a lot of money, we have to have a plan. We have to have people, and we have to have product and services. This is pretty simple, right? Everybody get this so far, right? So that is how you attract money instead of earning or working for money. Working for money has a certain limit. How much time that we can give out, how much a skill that we can provide, and we are only given whatever material wealth that is in equal value to whatever we can work for. But when we have when we attract money, then there is no limit, because there's no limit on how many ideas you have. There's no limit on how big the plan is. There's no limit on how many people you can bring into your organization. And there's no limit on what kind of product or services that we can provide and turn into money. All right. So the question is, once you have a business plan, once we have the people, and once we have the product and service that we want to provide for other people, what can we do to make sure that that business, now we're looking at a business, right? A business plan plus people plus products and service, that is the definition of a business. So the question is, exactly, yeah, what the question is, how do we make sure that our business is sustainable. How do we want it to be sustainable? Because you can have a business plan and we can have a people, we can have product services, but if those product and services don't last, or if they are dependent on things like the market, the economy, then it'll go up and down with the economy and with the market, and it's not going to last. And then when the economy change, when the market change, when the environment change, we are going to have to change with it. We're going to have to um, come up with a different plan, maybe even find different people. That's hard work, and that's not sustainable. Sustainability is something that can last you through many years, and in many cases, many generations. Right? There are organizations and businesses that can last hundreds of years. And so we're going to look into what kind of element that will help make a business sustainable. And not only is it sustainable, how do we make it scalable? How do we make it beneficial? Okay, so let's go back a little bit with the idea of attracting money and how to make it sustainable. Let's in the piece of paper. So I'm going to draw a picture. Let's say this is us. Okay, we are now a business person. Okay, we're now a business person. In order for our business to be sustainable, we need to satisfy three conditions. First of all, this is a reality triangle. Okay, so like a reality triangle, we always have a corner that represent the matter or the material manifestation. I just shorten it and call it matter. There's an energy component, energetic component, and then there's an information corner. Just say info for now. Hello, chị Nguyễn Thị Mai Hương. Thank you for joining our Zoom. So how do we make our business sustainable? We need to satisfy I'm going to write it down here, the power triad. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to use the power triad to make our business sustainable. Triad means three. Okay, power triad means three groups of people that hold power over our life, our human life and experience. Okay, one of the power triad is the government. Okay, another part of the triad are what we call the rich or rich people. We'll define that in a little bit. And finally, of course, one of the group that hold power are the people. The power triad are the three groups of people that hold power over our human life and experience. Okay? If our business plan is to be sustainable, of course, it has to serve the people. It has to bring value to the people. But in order for it to bring value to people and be sustainable, it has to satisfy the government. The government has to support it. Okay, so the government has to support our business plan. Okay, in a country that is ruled by law, for example, the United States and a lot of Western countries, when the law is the supreme government of the land, the supreme rule of the land, then our business plan has to obey the law. Okay, some people have a business plan that try to bring value to people, but it takes advantage of loopholes in the law, and when the government close the loophole, then the plan or the business become illegal, and then your plan is not sustainable anymore. So if your plan or your business wants to be sustainable, it has to be supported by the government. The government has to support it. Okay, that's just basic step. That's why it's on the fundamental, on the informational corner of the reality triangle. The first step is to satisfy the government. Whatever our business is, it has to satisfy the government. It has to obey the law. It has to benefit the government. Okay. Um, the next part in the power triad are the rich. Okay. Not a lot of people get this, but it is important that our business plan actually benefit the rich. You know why? Because the rich will enable us. Okay. So imagine this. Okay. So here, when we define the rich, not just as people who have a lot of money, because remember in the note in the inner being class, we said we define richness and wealth not in just material form. People who have a lot of money and a lot of cash, a lot of material wealth, um, but they don't have the capability to make more wealth or the capability to hold on to that. They're not necessarily rich. But the rich here, in terms of money, business, and investment, are the kind of people who have already succeeded in a given field of finance. Think about that. The rich are the people who have already succeeded. Because they have succeeded, they have created a lot of value, they have bring a lot of value and help a lot of people. They have been able to draw money from people, therefore they're rich. So our business plan, if for example, let's take Uber or ride sharing. Okay, in the United States or in most of the world, at first people ride around in taxi, right? Taxi, okay, and taxi was the main travel for people who don't own a car. Taxi is owned by a number of companies. They have been in business for a very long time. And then somebody, let's say Uber, comes up with a plan that they are now going to provide ride share services, car transportation services. But instead of calling the taxi company, any individual, instead of being directly employed by the taxi company, they can just anybody could drive their own car. They just need to download an app. In Vietnam, the same thing. Grab, and we have different ride sharing, transportation. So as the new business plan becomes successful, what that does, it begins to interfere with the richness of the existing rich people, which is the taxi industry. And so, because it starts to interfere with the taxi industry, they get backlash. The taxi industry fight back. And so the company like Uber, they have to spend a lot of time and money and energy fighting the existing people, the existing taxi company, and a lot of expenses, right? Because they have essentially invaded the benefit of the existing rich people. Okay, so same with digital currency. Okay, in Vietnam, up to now, most of the financial institutions are banks. Right? Bank deal with mostly uh, traditional wealth, but when cryptocurrency comes into play, digital currency comes into play, they become successful. And what happens is that the bank becomes threatened. Okay, thank you, Chị Thoa Nguyễn, for joining us. So when the bank are now threatened by new financial company in the form of digital and cryptocurrency, the bank is going to fight back and try to shut down the cryptocurrency platform. And if the rich is being threatened, usually the government is also being threatened. Why? Because the government exists by the consent of the people and by the support and enabling of the rich people. Okay? With the people, it is by consent. If we want to draw money from people, all we need to do is get the consent from people. For people, it's very simple. But if our business plan interfere with the the rich, existing industry, what's going to happen is that we threaten the power base of the government, because the government uh, is built up by rich people. Okay, even in a democratic country, every president is a rich person. You can't be a poor person and be part of the government. Okay, it is always the case that rich people will enable the government, at the same time by the consent of the people. So if our business plan interfere with the rich, basically if we become a competitor in a given field, when we have to be watching out for the rich people. And if we are interfering with the rich, that means we are endangering the well-being and the stability of the government. And so with cryptocurrency in Vietnam, the government and the rich people, which is the existing bank, have come together and they are fighting the cryptocurrency platform. Even though the cryptocurrency platform benefit the people. But if you're hurting the rich, if you're hurting the government, then you're also indirectly hurting the people. Okay, the government exists to serve the people. Okay, so how do we do it? So how do we come up with a business plan that is sustainable, that satisfies the power triad, and not interfere with the rich, not interfere with the government, and at the same time bring value to the people? And so the sages, the successful people, okay, wise people who have succeeded, give us the following ways, method of doing it. If we have a business or product, and what we really, really want to do is bring value to people, then what we need to do is we can give up material wealth, give up the attachment to material wealth. Okay, attachment. I should have used the word attachment. Okay, let me give up attachment to material wealth. Okay, this is counterintuitive, but this is a way that we can bring a lot of value to people to make a lot of money and not violate the power triad. What we do is we give up the attachment to material wealth. How do we do that? We create opportunity for the rich to make more money. Why? Because the rich like money. People who become rich because they like money. If they like money and we come up with a business plan that threaten their flow of money, they're going to be our competitor. They're going to find ways to attack us and shut us down. But if we can, using wisdom and cleverness and smartness, we can help the rich make money from our plan, at the same time benefit people. Then we can still bring benefit to the people. Okay, when it comes to, I'll go use an example in a little bit after I mention what do we do with the support, with the government support. In order for our business plan to be sustainable and gain the support of the government, what do we need to do is give up attachment to fame. Why? Because the people in the government are the people who most desiring fame. Okay, they want fame. They want the name to be out there. They want the power associated with it. So if we do some kind of business and we become too famous, what's going to happen is that we are going to, our fame will threaten the fame of whatever government individual that is in play at that place, and that government is going to try to shut us down. So instead, if we understand how this works, then we can smartly give the fame to the government. Okay, as long as in the end result is we can help the people. So let's use the example of a charity that wants to bring the value to people. Give up is the question from anh Thế Anh is to give up is buông. Okay, to buông, or you can say give up, or you can detach or let go. Yeah, to give up or let go. Yeah, let go of fame and let go of attachment to material wealth. Why? Because we understand that material wealth is limited. And at the same time, we understand, we have an awareness and perception that money, wealth, exists in an energetic form as well as on the informational form. So we don't have to be attached to the material aspect of wealth. Do you guys get that? If we have the perception that money exists as energy and information, then we can give up, or we can detach from the desire to accumulate material wealth. Let the rich people accumulate material wealth. What we do is we retain money in the form of people and money in the form of information. And then to get the support of the government, we give up our attachment to fame. Don't become too famous. Don't become more famous than the local government official. So here's an example of a business that helped the people. Okay, let's say, let's say in a region in the country of Vietnam, there's some places in Vietnam there are a lot of flood. Right, every year there are flood, and when the flood come, also bring a lot of damages in material as well as the well-being of the people. And so a lot of people want to help. A lot of people want to help the flood area. They want to donate rice. They want to bring medical supplies and things like that to help the victims of the flood. Okay, we get this every year. So if a person who does not understand the power triad, what they would do is they will just go straight to the area of the flooding area. They will bring in, let's say, tons and tons of rice and donate it to the people. So they would, at first, they would achieve the goal of helping the people. However, at the same time, while they are helping the people is gonna question, oh wait, why isn't the local government taking care of the people? Why is this the foreigner or this outsider bringing rice and money and supply to help the people when the local government, whose responsibility is to help the people, why aren't they doing it? So if that's the case, then what's going to happen? We threaten the fame, the identity of the local government. And what's going to happen is the local government is going to be offended by it. They're going to shut down their charitable mission. Even though we want to help the people, and the government's purpose is to support the people, but if we make the government look bad, then the government is going to shut us down. At the same time, there's the rich. Okay, so in a local community, the rich are defined as the people who have already succeeded in providing value for that local community, thereby becoming rich by it. In a local community, there are, let's say, people who buy and sell rice, the supplier of rice and medicine and the things that the community need. If we go in and we just bring in rice and supply and medicine and we provide all of that for the people and we bypass the rich, then we have basically threatened the well-being of the rich. They depend on their economic, their money depends on selling money to the people, the local people. But we bring money and we bring supply from outside to give to the people, and we bypass the rich, then we have just threatened the financial well-being of the rich in that local area. And guess what? The rich is going to strike back. They will use the government, and together the rich and the government will fight our business plan. And there, at the end, we will not be able to help people. So An suggested that let's do charitable work under the government's fame and through the rich. So let's say we wanted to help a group, a village that is suffering from flood. The smart way that we want to go about it is first contact the local government, share with them our plan, our idea. Now we have a wealth of idea. We have the wealth of information. We talk to the local government. We say, hey, we want to work with the government. We want to get the government support, right? We need to get the government support. We want to work with the government to help the people. And the government will get the credit for it. The local government, the elected official, the city council, okay, the governor, they will get the credit, the fame for being responsible for helping the people. Even though we supply the idea, we can supply the resources. Okay, so number one, we get the support of local government. And number two, how do we support the rich in the community? Well, we buy supply from them. Instead of taking supplies from outside, bypassing the rich, if there are any existing economic business in the area, we want to help them. We buy from them, thereby giving them what they really want most, which is money. And then take whatever they provide in terms of product services and we give it to the people. We satisfy the government, we satisfy the rich, we help the people. Do you guys get that? That's a smart way of doing business, and it is sustainable. As long as we follow that formula, every time we do business, we involve the government, we involve the rich, and we can help the people. And if we can help the people, and the people get that, oh, the local government is the one responsible for bringing them that charitable aid, then the rich will support the government, will strengthen the government. The rich realize that, the people realize the people will support the government. And the people realize that they are buying local money. Then we satisfy the power triad. And we keep on doing that over and over and over. We don't interfere with anybody. Taean, you raise your hand. Do you have a question or comment?
I just have a reality that I want to say about what you have just said about the charity work that can satisfy the power triad, or later at the end. I mean, I want to say a reality story about this, right? It's not a question.
Yeah.
So because is it interrupt your lesson?
It's okay. Go ahead. It's okay. Yeah.
Because the lesson you have just taught is very similar to what we have done here in Vietnam. So every year we have a team that we go to the rural area in Vietnam to do the charity work. We bring the gift to the kid and the poor people in the rural area in Vietnam, and it's very similar to the power triad here. That now I realize that we satisfy this because whenever we do the charity work, we contact with the government, local government first to ask them for support and to work under their name, not our name. And then we call for the support from the rich people from all the network we have. We ask them to support the finance support for material and gift for everyone. And thus we enable the rich. And finally, we get the consent of the people at the area that we come to do the charity work. So I think it's very similar to the lesson you have just taught about the power triad. That's my sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly it. Yeah, that's exactly it. Okay. And then finally, in this corner, when it comes to people, okay, if we help the people, if we provide a product or service, and we want something in return, especially if we want material wealth in return, then that is also limited. On the other hand, if we're also willing to give up, okay, personal benefit, that is not to say that we lower our, it is not to say that we take on any undesirable harm to ourselves. But if we can help people and we give up our selfish desire, then it opens up the freedom for us to do anything. Okay, think about that. If a person is free from attachment to fame, if a person is free from attachment to material wealth, if a person is free from personal benefit, then that person is totally, utterly free. If a person is totally free, then they can do anything. Right? Think about that. If you're totally free, then you can do anything. Okay. In the courses on the inner being, we talked about the idea of emptiness, coming back to a state of emptiness, emptiness of being. If we can empty ourselves from fame, if we can empty ourselves from material wealth, if we can empty ourselves from personal benefit, then that gives us the kind of unlimited freedom to do almost anything. We can help as many people as we want. Do you get that? And it's like this. When we have a perception of money as not as material form, we understand money as an energy and as information. Then, and when we are able to detach ourselves from material wealth, then it can be like this. Imagine Mr. A. I'll use myself, Frank. Okay, let's say Frank. Frank wants to rent an apartment. Okay, Frank is looking for a place to stay. Frank wants to go and rent an apartment. Frank visit an apartment complex, and there's a landlord who owns the apartment. And Frank say that I want to take a look at the apartment, but I don't want to make a decision yet. I don't want to make a decision to rent it or buy it yet. And the landlord said, you need to put on a deposit. Okay, so Frank put down a deposit. Let's say a deposit of $500 to the landlord. Just a deposit, just to hold a spot, hold that room. Okay, I'm not sure I want to rent it yet, but at least I'm going to put down $500 to hold it. And then I go away. Okay, sometimes I need the time to think about it. I go away and I'm thinking about it. In the meantime, the landlord has a drinking buddy. Drinking buddy goes to the friend who's a landlord, say, hey, you owe me $500 for the whatever that I spot you earlier. I want you to pay me $500. So the landlord take that money that Frank had just given and pay it to his buddy. The buddy goes and use that money and pay to the fish seller to whom he owe money. The fish seller pays the money for the tutor who teach her kid. And the tutor pays money, that's in money to whoever else, and down the line, that money, that $500 gets changed hand in hand in hand. And one person, the last person, take the $500 and pay the landlord who had loaned him $500. And then a few days later, Frank comes back and say, I don't want to stay at your apartment. Can I have a deposit back? The landlord gives Frank $500 back. Frank has lost absolutely nothing, but the value has been created for the landlord, his drinking buddy, the fisher, the fish seller, the tutor, and the person who owed the landlord. And that is how money really, really works. See, if a person has money, who has a perception of money as a material form, they want to accumulate. They want to accumulate. They want to keep it there. They want to build a bank account. But if a person has an awareness of people, of money as something that is created by people in form of value for helping people, they are able to detach from the physical money, the material money. That money exchange hand from one person to another person, and it could exchange hand to many people, creating value to many people, and then finally it can come back to us. That is money in an energetic and on an informational form. Do you get that? In the US, in the Western world, in English, it is called currency. Current. It is a flow, like a current. Money has to flow. The only way for money to have any value is for us to flow from one place to another, from one person to another. That is the only way that money can be turned into value. Currency. The word is currency, the flow of money. Okay. And if we have the awareness and perception that we are unattached to the physical material wealth, then we can allow money to change hand much more simply. Then we can be free. It is called freedom of commerce in the mind. Let's just write that one down, so you guys have a picture of what it is and the concept of it. Okay. It is called freedom of commerce in mind. Okay. When we are not attached to the physical form of money, when we are not attached to material wealth, we're not attached to fame, we are not attached to personal benefit, then we are free. Then we are experiencing a state of freedom of commerce in mind. And if we have a freedom of commerce in mind, and we're not attached to all of those things, we can cause the government to support us, because we can give the fame to the government. If we have freedom of commerce in mind, then we can cause the rich people to enable us, to support us. In fact, rich people like money. If they see that we're trying to make money for ourselves, then they're going to feel like we're a competitor. They're not going to support us. But if they see that we are here to make them rich, we're here to make them make more money, then they will be very willingly partner up with us, whatever business plan that we have. Okay, freedom of commerce in the mind. And if we have freedom of commerce in the mind, then we can also simply cause people to consent to the value that we're trying to give to them. Because they see that we're not trying to extract money from them. We're trying to create value. Okay, and because we got the support from the government, we got the support from the rich people, and we got this consent from the people, there's really no limit to any plan that we can come up with. And if we have no limitation in our mind with respect to product and services, we can basically create any product or services. then we can appertel. With appertel, right, we can share with other people, we can sell any idea, we can promote any product at any time, even if the product and service is not something that we create. Because why? We have the people, the benefit of the people in mind. So let's say we may be selling cars. Okay, we may be a person who sell cars, and we meet a person who's interested in cars, but generally, let's say we're selling cars that run on gas, but that person is looking for electric vehicle. Instead of trying to convince them to buy our gas vehicle, we just refer them to a company that sells electrical vehicle. We create value for the people. And when we create value for the people, what do you think is going to happen? Right? If we have freedom of commerce in mind, if we can appertel anything, we can help anyone, eventually we become a kind of person that will attract everybody. Because people see that we are the kind of person who's ready to help them. And if we become a person who can attract other people, then there's really no limit on what value that we can create for them and bring for ourselves. You guys get that? So if we have any product or services that we want to sell, and if people are willing to pay money for it, sure, we can take the money. But as long as we have a use for that money for a meaningful purpose to help people, then that flow of money is going to keep on going. So to give up fame and wealth and personal desire and selfish desire is a key to turning an ordinary person into an extraordinary apperteller, an extraordinary apperteller. And if you can appertell, if you can share value with anybody about anything, then essentially you will become a master of your own life. It is an internal state that gives rise to an external reality. To be free in the mind is to essentially master your external circumstances. Right? Imagine what it would be like to teach our children to be free in their mind, to always give value to other people, always share fame with the government, always share money with the rich, with the ultimate purpose of bringing value to the people. Then your children will be master apperteller. They're always sharing anything of value. We go to a restaurant and eat a food, and we really like the food. We share that with other people. We go traveling. We see a country and we think it's a great country. We share that with other people. Any product or services that we see of value, we freely share it with other people. And that freedom of sharing and appertelling makes us an attractor of opportunity in other people. And we already understand that money exists in an energetic form and from an informational form. And when we are an attractor of people, we can be very, very rich. At any time we have a good plan that we want to apply to people and turn it into product or services to draw physical money, material wealth, we can do it much more simply. Because without the wealth of people, with the wealth of information, material wealth is very limited. Okay. And so how do you attract people? We went to we talked about the power triad is the kind of thing that the group of people that we want to align ourselves with, and at the same time we can empower them to help us. Right? If we get the support of government, if we get the support of the rich people, we can serve a lot of people and make a lot of money. But here is how we can attract people, and what do we do it for? Okay. In order to attract people to our product and services, what we need to have is something that is distinct, and separate. Separate from other people. Okay. In the economic term, it is a competitive advantage. What is our competitive advantage that will attract other people to us? It has to be different and it has to stand apart from everybody else. It is distinct and separate. Okay. Now, how are we going to be? How do we become distinct and separate from other people? In a fundamental found from a fundamental way or foundational way, as well as a sustainable way. Well, here's one way to be very distinctive from everybody else and separate from everybody else. Whereas most people, when it comes to money and finance and business, whereas most people will acquire and accumulate money, we take on the mindset of giving money. Whereas people try to accumulate money when they do business, we take on the mindset of giving money to the rich. Totally opposite, don't you think? Totally opposite. Everybody wants to accumulate for themselves. Everybody want to be rich. But if we are free in our mind, freedom of commerce in our mind, and we can appertain anything, then we can freely give money to the rich. If we can freely give money to the rich, then the rich will support us in achieving whatever plan that we want, in bringing value and services to the people. It takes wisdom and courage to do that, huh? That is how we can be distinct and separate from everybody else from a fundamental level. Whereas people acquire and accumulate material wealth, we give material wealth to the rich. Okay? Many charitable organizations, many people mistakenly think that they help the world by taking on the Robin Hood identity. You know, we all know the story of Robin Hood, right? The Robin Hood steal the money from the rich and give it to the people. Great for movies and story, but guess what happened to Robin Hood? He's always being chased down by the rich. He's always being chased down by the government. It is not sustainable to be Robin Hood. It is not sustainable to be Robin Hood. Our ultimate purpose is to help the people. But to be Robin Hood, you're actually going against natural laws. Robin Hood cannot be sustainable. Once Robin Hood gets arrested, then no more anybody else to help people. But if we place the benefit of the people as our ultimate goal to bring value to people, then we can suspend or we can give up our need to accumulate material wealth, give the material wealth to the rich. And when the rich people see that we are the kind of people who are not interested in accumulating wealth for ourselves, they will be more willing to help us in whatever plan that we have to help people. Okay? Another way that we can be distinct and separate from everybody else in this world is that whereas most people strive for power and recognition and fame, everybody wants fame. Everybody wants to be recognized. Well, we do the opposite. We give fame to other people. We give fame to government officials. We give recognition to people who want to donate or to work with us. We let go of fame. Why? Because we are free. Freedom of commerce in the mind begin with letting go of fame. We don't need the fame. What we need is to see the people benefit. So we can give up fame. We give fame to the government, right? Bolster their position, bolster their credibility with the people. If the people have faith in the government and the government is supported by the people, then the government will benefit the people. So we help the government build a relationship with people by giving them the credibility, the fame. And if we can do that, then we will be really free. Okay. Another way that we can be distinct and separate, whereas other people think about drawing money from the people. In the beginning, we said, where do we draw money from? From Mother Nature, from the government, from people. Most business people think about drawing money from the people. How do we get people to pay us? Instead of thinking, how do we draw money from people? We think about how do we create value for people? Okay? We how to create value to people. And instead of accumulating and drawing money to ourselves, we allow ourselves to see money as nothing more than a breeze of air in our face. Okay, like a brush of cool breeze. When money comes to us, we feel that cool breeze, and then immediately we use that money to create value for other people. The money has to flow as a current. It is not something that we want to hold on, because holding on to that is it's going to stop us from creating a lot of value to people. And so when we start to become distinct, when we start to separate ourselves from the rest of the crowd, and when we start to prioritize people, that's what's going to happen is that we can start to influence them. Influence. Okay, we can start to influence people, including the government, including the rich, including all the people. And we influence them by showing them that we prioritize their benefit above ours. Of course, we don't diminish our own benefit. Okay, we don't do anything that would harm ourselves. That would be inappropriate. But if we can show the people, the government, the rich people, that we have prioritized their benefit above our own, then we will influence them. Okay? And once we can influence them, how do we make sure that we maintain that influence? How do we make sure that we maintain that affinity? Because here, remember, we recognize that money in an energetic form is people. More people we have, the more influence over people we have, the richer we actually are. How do we maintain influence over people? It's by to continue to give value to them. But material value is limited. We cannot give all of our money away. Once all of our material wealth is given away, it's gone. We can no longer give value to people. So how do we continue to give value to people in a sustainable, enduring way, unlimited? Anybody know answer this question? How do we give value to people that is sustainable and unlimited? We can't give money away. You cannot give material wealth away because that is limited. There is the kind of value that we can give away again and again and again. And that is the seventh great
Gifts of life.
Okay, seven great givings. The gift of our smile. Every time we smile, we cause another person to be happy. We are giving them value. The gift of our seeing, our gaze, to hold another person and to behold them. Beauty is in the eye of beholder. We are giving them value. To give them words of kindness, our speech, encouraging words of affirmation, words of hope, words that strengthen their faith, the faith in themselves, the faith in the government, the faith in rich people, in money, in society. We are giving them value through words of kindness. We give them the gift of our heart, the heart of gratitude, honoring gratitude. Okay? Every time we show another person our appreciation for their present, they don't have to do anything. Your presence is my present. So your presence here in this Zoom is enough for me to be touched and moved, because I recognize that you are, as a human being, are the energy of money, that you are my capital and my assets, that you as a human being are not only the path that lead me to, my destination, but if you're not a path, then you are the bridge that will lead me to other path. Okay. Human beings are a talent asset. So it is honoring gratitude is a kind of gift that keeps on giving, and there's no limit. And if there's no limit on how much value that we can get, and there's no limit on how much value we can receive. The gift of our spirit, the spirit of magnanimity, of generosity, of tolerance and acceptance, of total forgiveness and mercy. Okay. The gift of our hands and feet, the gift of our body, which is helping action, helping words, helping action. And finally, the gift of our position or status in life. If we have financial material wealth and we give our financial wealth, at some point it'll be depleted. But if we give another person the position of financial wealth, if we can teach another person how to become rich, if we can teach another person how to invest, if we can teach another person how to maintain a sustainable business, satisfy the power triad, then we give them the gift of our position. We give them the gift of our wealth if we have wealth. If we're happy, then we give them the source concept of happiness. If we give them the positive mental image of happiness, and if we give them the balance and positive energy of happiness, then we give another person the reality of happiness. That is a gift of our position. And you can give that gift as many times as you want. But only if we are free in our mind with respect to commerce. We can appertell anything, we can share anything of value we want to give to other people. And what's going to happen when we have been able to attract a person, influence them, give value to them? What that happen is that they will start to feel love. They will start to feel love. Essentially, that's what it is. To give other people value, it is a form of love. If we have the energy of magnanimity, you can magnanimity is an energy of unconditional love and eternal love. Giving the seven great gift is the kind of gift that you can keep on giving forever, because there's no limit. And if we can cause another person to feel loved, then essentially we will have transformed them. When a person feels that they are loved, they will take it upon themselves to change, and they will change for the better. Okay? It is the energy of love that will cause for other people to change for the better. And we don't have to force them, we don't have to do anything, we just give gift. It begins with an awareness and perception of freedom of commerce and mind. It is begin with a perception that wealth is not only limited to the material form, which is bank account and cash and real estate, but wealth is really people. And wealth is having knowledge. What kind of knowledge? The kind of knowledge that is transformative knowledge of the inner being, knowledge of money, business, and investment in a holistic way, like we're talking about. Knowledge of wisdom, knowledge of attitude and character, knowledge of integrity, knowledge of physical vitality and capability. Notice that I have just listed the 6 candles in our house of holistic wealth. And if you have 6 candles in the house of holistic wealth, then the final candle is a candle of material wealth. And I've said before that if you are holistically rich, it is impossible to be materially poor. Did you guys get that? Okay. Okay, so it comes with the let me rewrite the triangle of reality of travel. So we have a picture of it in our mind. So reality triangle of how to travel. It is a formula as well as principle. Money. Remember, we are no longer working for money. We're not no longer wasting time searching for money. We are here to attract money. Of course, in order to attract money, we always begin with some plan, some idea. We're going to need to apply those plans to people. And then it comes out in a material form as some product or service. Okay. Once we have the product and service, we need to go back to the checklist. And we want to make sure that our plan satisfy the power triad, aligned with power triad. You can use the power triad to empower our product and service. Get the government on our side, get the rich people on our side. Okay. We need to make sure that we have the following component in place when it comes to people. Okay, our people, ourselves included, we need to have heart. We need to have resources. And we need to have capability. If our plan is aligned with the power triad, if we have the heart, the resources, and the capability, then we can begin to ask the question, is our business sustainable? Okay, but this are the material manifestation, this is the outcome. If the business is sustainable, is it scalable? If we can do it small, we can do it big. And of course, is it truly beneficial? So the formula for attracting money is also a formula for building sustainable, scalable, and beneficial institution and product and services. All institutions, if they want to survive the test of time, have to satisfy the power triad. It has to have heart, resource, and capability. It has to be beneficial to people. So last time we mentioned a little bit about the heart. Okay, the heart has the heart of helping others. We talked about helping others. In order to help other people, we have to improve our relationship with them, our social closeness, from simply being acquainted and familiar to people in terms of fondness. Right? We never want to be in a business with anybody that we are not fond of. We have to like them and they have to like us. That is a positive energy. And here, there's a quick and simple way to know if you're going the right way, if you're attracting the money. Think of money as having a negative energy. And negative and opposite attract. Think of the yin yang symbol. Negative and positive attract. Because money is negative, the best way to attract negative energy of money is to be positive ourselves. Okay, that is a theory on an opposite. Just like male and female has a certain opposite attract. Just think of money has negative energy, and in order to attract money, we have to be positive. We have to have a desire for other people. Remember, desire for ourselves is negative. If we desire for ourselves and we take on negative energy, guess what? Money is going to go away, no matter how much you try. And people do it all the time. They work really hard. They paddle against the current. They work really hard, invest a lot of time and money into trying to make money, but their energy, their intention is negative for themselves. Sooner or later, money will go away. And they waste all the time and effort. But if you begin with the intention, the desire for helping other people, is called altruism. Altruism, is is other, is truly is a other self, altruism. When we think about other people, we are taking on a positive energy. And positive energy will attract negative energy. That's a quick simple way of thinking about it. If anytime I lose, that's what it's going to about thinking about desiring something for ourselves. Even as we are helping people, even as we are helping people, and we're thinking, let's say fame, we're thinking of some compensation, we're doing out of some strange sense of negativity, money will go away. Is my connection better now? I know it was unclear for a little while.
Yeah, sometimes
It's better
it's
now, right?
unstable.
The people comprehend. Do we actually understand people? If we are engaging in business with somebody else, or if we're investing, value people as, do we comprehend that? Do we comprehend natural laws and universal principles? Do the business partners or the investment group that we're going into, do they understand the flow of money? Do they understand causality? Do they understand that good cause, when placed in positive, favorable condition, will give positive result? Right? Do they have the heart of comprehension? Do they understand human life and experience? Or do they only understand the economic of material? Well, that's only one small part of it. Okay? Do they understand the golden rule? The golden rule. Do unto others what you will have done unto yourself. If we want a life that is positive and rich, guess what? We're going to have to plant seed of positive and richness in other people. It's a simple rule, but nobody really understands it. They try to accumulate for themselves. And when their money goes away, they wonder why, what's going on? They've been working hard all their life and their money goes away. Well, guess what? That is because you don't understand the simple golden rule. If you want richness for yourself, you have to give richness to other people. And you do that by being able to detach yourself from fame and material wealth. Okay. The resources one is material money, right? We're trying to do a business, we're trying to start a company, we're going to need financial resources. if lack of financial resources can be forgiven, that is why people open up for investment. Okay, we're trying to get other people to give us financial resources. We have to show that we are sustainable, scalable, beneficial, satisfied alignment with the power triad, that we are helping people, our product and services is appropriate. And when we can show that, then at the same time, the other type of resource is our talent. Okay? There are people in the organization have the talent to carry out the plan. And then the capability are the things that is the ways and mean technology. We're using appropriate technology to bring in the money. Okay. Resources are also people, right? Do you have the people with the kind of appropriate capability? So in order to attract money, we have to have all of those elements in place. And the thing is, why do people want money in the first place? What do people do when they have money? Okay, so let's take a quick look before we end for today. Let's go back to the word money. Okay, why do we want money? Why do people want money? Why do we even bother talking about money? Is it not because money is money is it not to improve the quality of your daily living in the house? People use money to buy a car. What for? So we can travel comfortably from our house to our work or travel to our place of vacation. Quality of life. Some people say, "Oh, I use money to buy a education for my children. Send them to college. Yeah, send them to study abroad in a foreign country." Well, what for? Is it not to buy the quality of life for their children? Some people use money to buy nutrition, to attend exercise class, to study personal development. That's what we're doing here, right? We're using money in many different ways. Why? Ultimately, so that we can improve our quality of life. But here's the thing. The irony there is that people who have a lot of money, they will use the money, the material wealth, to buy things that they think will give them quality of life. But sometimes that doesn't really turn out the way it should, huh? Because quality of life ultimately revolves around a person's health. It revolves around a person's inner being, and it revolves around our relationship. Right? What else? And is there any other thing that we can think of that would fall into quality of life if it is not our health, our inner being, our relationship? So people who have money will use the material money to buy health, inner being, and relationship. Peace of mind, inner being, peace of mind. Yet they don't seem to be able to do it. That's the irony of it. That's a mistake. Right? People use material wealth to buy the quality of their life, which is health, inner being, and relationship, and they don't always get that result. Because not everyone can When people have money, they strive to improve the quality of life. My apologies, my audio is not always good because I'm on a sketchy Wi-Fi connection at the hotel. So we realize, oh, after this whole discussion on money, we expand your awareness and perception about money, where money comes from, what form the money take on. And ultimately, we realize that even if we have a lot of money, we cannot buy quality of life. And that is why we also study the other class, which is the inner being class. We really talk about the quality of life. When we talk about richness, not in material world, but richness in wisdom. We talk richness in attitude. We talk about richness in character and integrity. Each morning, I'm very grateful for those of you who join me in enriching our physical vitality with exercise. We are enriching our capability. Many of you here are taking on the course to become a mentor in the inner being philosophy, in the philosophy of education from the root. And ultimately, what we really want to do in terms of quality life is we create value for other people. It's that simple. Okay, create value. A person only reach a state of fulfillment and completeness when they realize that they have create value for other people. It is one of the basic human needs. Human need has certain basic needs like a need for food, water, and shelter. That is basic need. Human being has a need for safety, a sense of safety and security. That's why to share ideas, to communicate, to build connection, to ideas. And ultimately, a person will get to a point when they feel the need to give. It is the need to give that is the ultimate fulfillment of a human being, especially rich people, okay? People who have made a lot of money, very successful in accumulating material wealth. At some point, after accumulating, they feel the need to give. And that is why a lot of rich people will form charitable foundation. They will donate to charity. And we already show you how to do a charitable project plan that is sustainable and scalable and beneficial. So there is that human need to create value for others. And the beauty of it is that the law of the golden rule is always at work. As we create value for people, it also comes back to us. It could come back to us in the form of material wealth, or it could come back to us in the form of people. When a person performs a charitable project, do they not accumulate and acquire a lot of network connection? They build their wealth of people. When a person is at the end of their life, when they're sitting in their deathbed, maybe just whispering the last few words, and they're thinking about their life and they're thinking about the moment before death, do you think people worry about how much money they have accumulated? No, they look around and they wonder how many people kids in the room. Yeah. All the children there with them. All the children there with them. That is how many people that they have in their life. That is truly we can we're attached to fame, we are attached to personal desire and needs and benefit. We don't put our benefit below other people, but we can show that other people benefit is above us. We don't sacrifice, we don't give up our own well-being, we don't give up our health, we don't give up our inner being, we don't give up our relationship, we don't give up our quality of life in order to create value for other people. But we can create value for other people in a way that they sense that, oh, we are prioritizing their benefit, then we will attract a lot of people, we'll bring a lot of money, and the life is going to be pretty good. And we'll have no regret on that last moment. Okay. Okay. So I think that's enough for my sharing today. Does anybody want to share their lessons, insight, and transformation today? That's it. Let's do some mental activation before we say good day. Yeah, please. Okay, and you raise your hand.
Thank you very much for your sharing. Can you back to the slide how to attract the money, the triangle?
How to attract money?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I really love this lesson done today. As before we know this, most of our people they try to accumulate money. When they go out to find money, accumulate material, and now we understand that it's not the way. So instead of accumulating and finding money out there, we better attract the money. It's like we instead of catching the butterfly or catching the bee, we grow the flower to attract them. It's like money here. We attract the money by creating business plan with align with the power triad. The power triad here. The power triad here as the government, the rich people, and the third one is so how we call the first one?
The people,
yeah,
the people, the common people. Yeah.
Yeah, the common people. So this is the power triad. So our business plan must satisfy the power triad first, and then we attract people to the business plan, and we invest to those people who have heart, resources, and capability. So they are the energy. Business plan is the information, and when we have the information and the energy within the people with heart, resources, and capability, we can create the material that is a product and service that the product services will be sustainable, scalable, and benefit
Beneficial. Yeah.
Yeah, beneficial. So which means that when we have the product and service that meet the three conditions here, the material will come. That means money. And when we accumulate money, we move to the next slide. So what we use money for? So we use money to improve our quality of life. So many people, they are very rich, they accumulate a lot of money, but they cannot improve the quality of life because I think it's because they don't understand what is quality of life. The quality of life is not we have so many cars, we have the big house, but the quality of life comes from health in the being and relationship. So if we use the money to improve this, we can have a quality of life. That's the lesson learned from today. Thank you very much, Frank.
Okay. That's wonderful. That's a great summary. Okay, very grateful to anh Thái Anh for that summary. Okay. Yeah, very honored by your presence in the Zoom today. And yeah, that's it. That's all I have. Next week I probably will not do the sharing because I will be in Phú Quốc attending the conference. Okay, so the time will not be appropriate.
Oh, I'll be there too, Frank.
Oh yeah, you are also in
Because I'm mentor 6, so I'll be there for the
okay.
yeah
Okay,
graduation.
excellent. Okay. Well, so after this, okay, well, I'm going to let me stop the recording and then I'm just going to do some side discussion with you guys and